Hello, I'm Smriti, and you're watching Chilbuli Days. Today I'm going to start chapter 8 of this very beautiful book, The Little Prince. I soon learned to know this flower better. There had always been very simple flowers on the Little Prince's planet, with a single ring of petals, occupying very little space and no trouble to anybody. They would appear one morning in the grass and fade away in the evening. But one day, from a seed blown from no one knew where, a new flower had come up, and the little prince had watched very closely over the small shoot which was not at all like any of the other shoots on his planet. It could have been a new kind of baobab, but the plant soon stopped growing and started to develop a flower. The little prince, watching the growth of an enormous bud, sensed that this could well lead to a miraculous apparition. But the flower continued her preparations for her beauty in the shelter of a green chamber. She chose her colors with great care. She dressed slowly, carefully arranging her petals one by one. She didn't wish to appear all crumpled, like a poppy. She only wished to appear in the full glory of her beauty. Oh, yes, she was very vain. Her mysterious preparations had lasted for days and days, and then one morning, when the sun was rising, she suddenly showed herself. And having worked so hard and taken such care, she yawned and said, "Ah, I'm only half awake. Forgive me. I'm still quite disheveled." But the little prince couldn't restrain her admiration and exclaimed, "Oh, how beautiful you are!" "Am I not?" the flower replied gently, "and I was born at the same time as the sun." The little prince had to admit that she was not excessively modest, but she was enchanting. "I believe it's time for breakfast," she added a moment later. "Would you be kind enough to attend to my needs?" And the little prince, totally abashed, at once fetched a can of fresh water and sprinkled the flower. Thus it was that she began from the outset to torment him with her demanding vanity. One day, for example, referring to her 4 thorns, she said to the little prince, "Let them come, those tigers with their claws." "But there are no tigers on my planet," objected the little prince, "and anyway, tigers don't eat weeds." "But I am not a weed," the flower replied sweetly. "Please forgive me. I'm not afraid of tigers, but I hate droughts. You wouldn't have a screen for me by any chance?" "A horror of draughts, that's really bad luck for a plant," remarked the little prince, thinking to himself, "This flower is indeed a very complex creature. In the evening, I want you to put me under a glass dome. It is very cold here where you live, and rather uncomfortable. Now, where I come from—" Too late, she interrupted herself. She had arrived as a seed. She could not have known anything about other worlds. Embarrassed at having been discovered preparing such a naive lie, she coughed a couple of times so as to confuse the little prince. "Where is the screen? I was going to fetch it, but you were talking to me." Whereupon she coughed a little more so that he could feel remorse. So the little prince, in spite of the good will his love engendered towards her, came gradually to doubt her. He had taken words of no importance seriously and became very unhappy. "I shouldn't have listened to her. She confided to me one day, one should never listen to flowers. One must admire them and breathe their fragrance. Mine perfumed all my planet, but I did not know how to enjoy her. The tail of claws, which irritated me so much, should simply have touched my heart." And he confided further. "At the time, I was unable to understand anything. I should have based my judgment upon deeds and not words. She cast her fragrance and her radiance over me. I should never have run away from her. I should have guessed at the affection behind her poor little tricks. Flowers are so inconsistent, but I was too young to know how to love her." Oh wow, that's a cute little love story here in this chapter 8. So these are the paintings which the narrator has drawn. This is the little prince sprinkling water and taking care of the flower is also come up with the screen. And the very beautiful lines at the end. One should never listen to flowers. One must admire them and breathe their fragrance. Mine perfumed all my planet, but I did not know how to enjoy her. That tail of claws, which irritated me so much, should simply have touched my heart. And at the end, he said, she cast her fragrance and her radiance over me. I should never have run away from her. I should have guessed at the affection behind the poor little tricks. Flowers are so inconsistent, but I was too young to know how to love her. This is such a lovely chapter. So yeah, here we go. Here we can see one thing that, like the little prince is now in a different planet, and he has come from a very little planet to the narrator's world. Similarly, the flower had come from somewhere else, but the flower just coughed and did not complete her sentence, and that made the prince a little angry and sad. But it's all very connected because I find a particular similarity, I would say, because the way the narrator wanted to know everything about the little prince would not come up with direct answers and tell about everything, and he was also sort of love for the narrator, and similarly for the little prince, the flower uh, is an alien, someone who has come from another planet, but he loves the flower. So it's really cute.